So, hello and welcome everybody to our, I think, episode 28 already. So, what started last summer as, let's say, an initiative of not knowing what to do during all this crisis and always being afraid of being in front of the camera. So, this was, I can speak in front of thousands of people, but sitting in front of the camera was always an issue for me. So I told them, everybody, I'm not looking like Brad Pitt. I'm not George Clooney. So it's better to let the screen to those people. But Harry, you changed my mind also when after having started with all this, and I'm really happy to have you with me and have a short discussion, 30, 40, 45 minutes, to share some insights on our history, on being on camera. And yeah, I'm really looking forward. So Harrison, we met on Instagram. I contacted you and we had a very nice online discussion. You gave me some housework. I tried to do the housework, and yes, here we are after deciding to have a live interview together. So maybe for our audience out there, who is Harrison? Tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, firstly, amazing introduction. Thank you for having me. Can we just take a moment to appreciate your setup? You are, I'm loving your setup. You've kind of put me to shame a little bit, but I am moving house, so everything's a bit all over the place. So my name is Harrison. I live in the United Kingdom at the moment, like I plan to go somewhere else. I studied media at university, however, nothing really to do with cameras, videography, photography. I was specializing in radio production, so I wanted to be a radio presenter, and also organizing events. So I was doing nightclub events, daytime events, you name it, I was involved with it. So that's where this all started, the whole creative. I mean, I've always been creative, but university allowed me to be as creative as I wanted to be. I've always had a camera in my hand from a very young age. My mother is a photographer, so I'm used to kind of being with cameras, but behind them, never in front of them. And I think we're going to kind of dive deeper into that during this chat. But it was only recently that I've overcome camera shyness. So I just want to put it out there. I have not always been comfortable on camera, regardless of what you hear from other people's journeys. That's my journey, and I have not always been comfortable. But I am comfortable on camera now, although a little bit nervous today, but that's normal.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but that's normal. No, but I tell you, if it's also when you lecture. So I lecture for many years, and still after thousands of lectures, I still feel a little bit adrenaline before I start my lecture. If you don't feel that, you will not perform. So it's like like in any other sport or whatever you do, you need a little bit internal excitement to start, because otherwise you don't have the power that you need. And the difference that I see, but we will talk about that, between lecturing in front of people and lecturing or talking to you on the camera, is the connection to people. So I'm half Italian. So you can imagine that for me, the talking with the hands and connecting with people is a very important part of my speak, my technique on how to perform on stage, how to lecture. And absolutely. I'm trying now to implement these techniques. I'm just, or when you told me, when I'm in front of the camera, I'm now looking into the camera, or I try to look into the camera. I showed you before, I have like a teleprompter that makes it easier to look into the camera. But I imagine if I would not have this setup, for me, it was like, imagine to have somebody standing behind the camera. Yep. So what is your, so let's jump into the next question, because my introduction was almost too long already. What from your point of view, what are the most common mistakes when you try to go on camera? What is your or what was your first experience doing this?
Yeah, so for me personally, and I think for a lot of people, certainly people watching and people that are exploring kind of being on camera and things, I think that it comes down to two things. So it's overcomplicating and overthinking. So the overthinking side of things for me was, what will my friends and family think? What will in my 9-to-5 job, what would they think of me being on camera and being this kind of orientating a lot of my content around humor? And then you've got the other side, which is kind of over scripting. A lot of us over script sometimes, so we become a bit robotic, bit rigid. And the more we script, the more we come away from who we actually are, which I believe is a bit of a challenge for a lot of people. Also, the equipment. I know we've spoken about equipment. Obviously, I've got my very basic setup in the background. But that is something.
Sorry, we will come back later to the equipment. So now maybe just let's focus on the mistakes, the things we discussed also about in our one-to-one session we had. So the common mistakes when people go live on camera. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it's people worry about stumbling on their words. What friends and family will think, what equipment do they need, and how much do they need to script. There's all these things going around, and that is the main issue. Is there's an abundance of things going round and round in your head, so by the time you start speaking to the camera, you've completely lost where you are. And I think there's a real mix of a lot of different aspects. So that is not embracing mistakes. We're talking about the mistakes people make, but actually I'm trying to be an advocate of, you can make mistakes, you should make mistakes, and you should also broadcast those mistakes. So yeah, mistakes, stumbling on your words, overthinking, over planning. There's so much, but I think if we condense it, it's overthinking and overcomplicating.
Okay, that's why I'm helping myself also with these questions. So basically, I think you need like a red ribbon. I don't know if this is correct in English. In German, we
to
the
guide
red
you.
ribbon or the red cord that leads me through the story. So yes. I tried over the time now to create a storyline. So I do the same introduction. So who are you? What are you doing? Talk about your work. And this helps to create a conversation style, like we would sit together in a bar and have a chat with each other. So I think this is my idea on how I'm doing these live interviews. And live is something different than the YouTube videos you watch, where it's cut perfectly, where everything is with a perfect light and the sound is perfect and everything. But this is I like the live touch. I don't know what is your opinion about the difference between going live and doing a recording. And this leads me then to the next thing, to the next question.
Yes.
I like your hashtag, just hit record. Yes. So basically, I think this explains a lot, but maybe you tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so for those of you that aren't aware, my motto, I guess you could call it, is just hit record. Now, the idea behind that is that, going back to, all these thoughts that are in our head when we're on camera, well, actually, by just hitting record, you're eliminating one barrier, which is having to stop and start the camera whenever you make a mistake or mess up. So by hitting record, my advice would be to hit record. As soon as you walk into the room, you record. You do not press stop until you've said absolutely everything that you need to say, and all of the value is on that SD card in that camera. Then you press stop. If you make mistakes or mess up, you do not stop the camera. It's one less thing to think about. And also, if you're like me, you will miss a lot of the value when you're not recording, because you'll say something and then you'll think, oh, actually, I wasn't recording. Now, I only came up with this concept a few months ago, and it was purely based on my experiences of not capturing everything I wanted to on camera because I hadn't pressed record. And that's kind of where it goes. And I think by just hitting record, you're not having to think about it. and you're capturing everything. You've got your bloopers, you've got the value, you've got the intro, the outro. You could have 28 takes of an intro. You can then pick one. Whereas if you're just stopping and starting, you could only have one to pick from. So that's the idea.
Yeah, but I'm trying to follow this. So I might explain to you or to other people out there. I'm trying now to set up like a daily routine in my office. So I come to my office, I change my clothes, and then I sit in front of my computer. I don't have the same setup as here, but also with the Logitech Brio 4K camera, decent lighting. And then I do what you told me. I just hit record and talk for 2-3 minutes, and some ideas come out, and then I check the video if there's something in these 2-3 minutes that I can use for a story or for a post. So but this was really following your idea, and it became like a routine. It's like brushing my teeth in the morning. I really go to my office, hit record, I sit in front there, hit record and talk for 2-3 minutes about some ideas I have, sometimes 2, 3, 4 different ideas.
Yes.
And then I can cut them into small pieces. And if it's not really, let's say, of high value, it might end up in a story.
Yes.
If I think, wow, this was a little bit more in deep or more for my community, then it ends up in an IGTV or something else. So what is your routine?
So I'm just going to quickly add a little tip for the viewers there based on what you've just said, because I think it's really important with the just hit record idea. So if you are feeling really shy on camera and you want to start using the just hit record idea, but you're not ready to talk on camera and publish it online, then what I would recommend is, you know, exactly like you've said there, is sit in front of the camera first thing in the morning and tell the camera what you're doing that day, what your goals are for that day. And that's it. It's just like a form of journaling. But the more you do this, the more comfortable you get. And like you rightly said, it's a routine. So yeah, I want you to try that. Anyone that's struggling with camera shyness, definitely try that, because that certainly worked for me. Just making the camera your friend, not your enemy.
Yeah, it's like the astronauts. I remember the first, for many years ago, when the first astronauts were going around this ISS station, and then you saw them every morning. They record. They had like live sessions,
like a diary.
And I also felt that with the time they got more confident on camera. They were more joking. They were more relaxed. So I think also in doing all this live stuff, it's training.
Yeah, it is. It's training. It's practicing. And I, you know, going back a year or two ago, I could not be in front of a camera. I could only be behind it. That was where I belonged in my eyes. Now I can walk through the city centre here in the UK and I can record on my phone, you know, walking through a big crowd, no problem. But I couldn't get up in front of a lecture theatre of 1,000 people and speak. It's strange, but I think it's because I've trained my mind to be comfortable on camera, not necessarily with public speaking. So look, everyone's got to start somewhere. I haven't always been comfortable, as I keep saying, but I think it's really important for you guys. If you do check out my Instagram, then you'll know that, okay, he wasn't always confident or this comfortable on camera. So if I listen to some of the tips and tricks that he's got from his experience, then maybe I can also be comfortable on camera. And that's what I'm really, really pushing for.
Okay, so maybe some additional tips and tricks, not just hit record.
Yeah.
So you were talking about, and maybe this leads me to the next question. Maybe we can jump back to another one again. But what equipment are you using? You were talking about using a smartphone. In the back you have like an what is this?
So this is Panasonic Lumix GH5S. So this is my go-to camera when I'm out filming. So I film weddings with it. I film videos for small businesses. I've got a very basic Rode mic on the top, which is for my talking to camera videos. But actually what I want to talk about is this smartphone. Bit of product placement there as well. Because for me, that's where it began. and that's where it will always be. And with the technological advanced stuff that we have at our fingertips, the apps, the phones, the lights, everything is all portable. We can do it wherever we are in the world. That is what I would recommend starting your journey with. This was around for me before talking to camera, because I was going out and filming. I'm a videographer. So without this, I wouldn't be in work, because I can't turn up to a video shoot with that and get paid. So my advice is to start with what you have. And this may hurt a lot of your feelings if you've already gone out and spent a lot of money. But if you are struggling with camera shyness, the last thing you want to do is put thousands of pounds worth of equipment in front of your face, big lights, big cameras, because it just makes the whole situation a lot more scary. So film on this, use your window as lighting to begin with, and use all of the free apps available on the App Store for iOS and also Android, because your focus should be on how you articulate your message on camera, not how you look to begin with. You can talk about equipment later. If you're overcoming camera shyness, that's where I'd start. Smartphone, window, free apps to edit. Simple as that.
Okay, yeah, but basically the whole iPhone or Android business is developing extremely fast. We have also the discussion in the dental field, where iPhone or smartphone photography is getting more and more popular, with the only downside or the only problem that we are doing macro photography, and there are some discussions of standards, of reproducibility and color correctness and whatever, all this. So basically, but if we are going live, or you say I'm going in front of the camera, nobody's really talking about correct color reproduction. If you go on YouTube and see all the videos, some have pink backgrounds, red backgrounds. There's no limit on styles and things you see there. But basically, I think two things that needs to be highlighted. For me, a good camera today is not an issue. Then you need to add some light. If you not start outside, as you told me or mentioned, the easiest thing is work with daylight.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's the sound. So basically, I did it the other way around. So I started exploring microphones first. So what is your experience? Because I see that a lot of people are doing nice videos, but the sound is really crappy.
Yeah.
So So you went the other way around. You say, okay, for me, the most important thing, that I'm not shy, that I go in front of the camera, and if people are hearing me, then it's okay. But what would you now, after some time, say about the importance of the three elements? So we have the camera, the recording of the image, we have the illumination, the light, and then we have the sound. So how would you rate the three things? All are important, but based on your experience or what you're doing now?
So funnily enough, for me, technically speaking, it started with sound as well, because I was very into music, and I used to, I'm going to say, attempt to make music. But I've always been quite creative and quite musical. So actually, for me, it did start with sound and microphones, which is funny because it's probably now the third out of those three for me, based on kind of my transition into talking to camera rather than being behind it. So at the moment, I'm going to create four. So you've given three. There's four in my opinion. The first and the very top of that list is your message and how you articulate it on camera. If you look at people like Gary Vee, one of the most influential business / marketeers in the whole world that there's ever been, you don't see him with a flashy camera all the time. He's walking around New York City with his phone in the air. He hasn't got AirPods. He's got wired headphones, that just goes to show that people listen to him. So that's number one for me, your message, what you're saying, and the value you're giving. The second is going to have to be the camera. And the third will be the lighting. And by no means least, the fourth will be the sound. However, it completely depends what scenario you're in. If I am filming a wedding, then it has to be a combination of all of them. 100%, definitely the visuals and the audio. It has to be a combination. It's like a 3-course meal. Like if you're going for a 3-course meal, you want the starter, the main, and the dessert. If the dessert isn't there or the starter isn't there, it's not a 3-course meal. And I hope that kind of makes sense of what I'm saying. It may not, but that's my opinion. And then the extra one at the top has to be the message that you are giving.
Yeah, so this is important, and not only you, but a lot of people are talking about Gary Vee and some others like YouTube or Instagram rock stars, and at the end, nobody knows why and how they became rock stars. So in Switzerland, I always tell my dental colleagues that have offices in Beverly Hills or New York or whatever big city, they get easier in touch with celebrities. So if you want to be a VIP doctor, VIP hairdresser, VIP photographer, then you have to move close to the VIPs, because the VIPs will not come to a small village in the center of England or a small village in the center of Switzerland. So I think this is point number one. But this new media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all these social media give also us, you and myself, the opportunity to go in front of camera and show ourselves. Although I think, I don't know, we discussed about what social media channel is important to you.
Yeah, I think, look, it's accessible. We are, again, we have everything at our fingertips, so we can get as much exposure and as much growth and experience and be educated, as much as anyone else can now with what we have in front of us. For me, I'm going to have to put Instagram at the top of the list, because that's where I am most kind of active on. However, I have got experience with pretty much every other platform that we have today and also have had in the past. TikTok is huge, but I think for 2021 and for the next few years, as far as I'm concerned, you need to be focusing on short form video. And the two platforms that are giving us accessibility with short form video at the moment are Instagram Reels and TikTok. Those two, you want to keep your eyes on them. And if you're not investing time into Instagram Reels and TikTok, and you want to level up your video presence, you might need to reevaluate your approach, because those two are absolute gold mines right now. And there's many ways. Let's not forget, you don't just have to do this. You don't have to talk to the camera all the time. There are many, many ways of creating video content. And as I said, before COVID, before the pandemic, it was just me and this. I wasn't speaking to it. I was behind it. I was out and I was filming and doing what I love. I've now adapted because I understand that a lot of people struggled with what I struggled with, and I'm trying to help people overcome it. So yeah, for me, it's Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, but I'm trying to build a community for dental photography or photography, and I see that it's first of all, there's millions of photographers out there, so it's much more difficult to create a strong community in a big ocean. Although I see there's also a big ocean of a lot of young boys and girls dancing and flipping around and being extremely successful. So I discussed this with Marketing Harry and other guys. What's the problem of some niches that they are more successful and others are less successful. But I think this is a discussion that is endless in these days. I try to have fun doing this, but on the other hand, what is your component? How much is it fun, what you're doing now, and how much is it business you want to do? Because you told me that you're now dedicating a lot of time into this.
Yes.
So do you think that you will make money with Instagram, social media, and what you're doing now?
Yeah, I think we need to look at it as, obviously it's a 50-50 split, I think, in terms of, I mean, business is fun. I think the whole saying, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I think that's certainly something that I live by. And this is all I want to do. It's helping people, it's being creative. I am obsessed and I will continue mastering my craft. Yes, you can make money from social media, but that doesn't mean to say that you can make money on Instagram. So you're showcasing who you are and what you do. That's what Instagram gives you. Instagram gives you a platform where you can reach, millions of people if you want to, or you're able to tell them who you are, what problems you are aware of in your niche, and how you can solve them. That's where the ball starts rolling. So it's not necessarily I'll put out an Instagram post and that post will make me £5,000. It's who can I get to see that post, who is struggling with what I'm struggling with, and how can I help them? Because business is all about helping people in one way or another, whether that's a product or a service. So yes, you can make money from social media. In terms of going on to what you were saying about dances and things, it's all trends, things come around. Will we ever get to a stage where young kids won't be dancing on camera and stuff? Probably not, but there will be certain songs and certain kind of things in society that are happening that make something more popular than something else. It's the same with fashion. Flared jeans are back in now. And it just goes round and round in circles. However, short form video, in my opinion, is the single best way of showcasing who you are and what you do on social media right now. And as we know, people buy from people. It's as simple as that. If you're showcasing who you are and what you do, naturally, people will come your way.
Okay, so you started your business. I booked you also. So yeah. I took a lesson from you. So how's your business going?
Yeah, it's going really good. I mean, this time a year ago, I never ever in my wildest dreams would have called myself a video coach or a coach at all. And it still makes me feel a bit strange when I say it, because with coaches, certainly in the industry I'm in kind of media and marketing, there's no qualification that you get to say, right, you're a coach. So there's this whole imposter syndrome. So for me, I really struggled with that. Whereas now, the way I look at it is all I'm doing is sharing my experience and my not so good experiences and the mistakes I made and the challenges I faced. I'm talking about them and then helping people avoid or overcome those problems themselves. And I don't class myself as an expert. I'm literally sharing my life experience, my 26 years of life experience, so not that long, but I'm sharing what I've been through in order to help other people. It's as simple as that. So yeah, it's going well. I'm launching my new coaching packages early April. Just got to get this house move out of the way first, and then I'll be launching that. So obviously you were part of my introductory offer. There will be further packages that are coming very soon. And I just love it. I love it. And I think if you're enjoying the process, that's amazing. And I think that is ultimately what it comes down to. Money aside, business aside, entrepreneurship aside, if you're enjoying it, that's it. That for me, that is what matters. And the rest will follow. But if I don't enjoy it, I don't do it.
No, it's always, we teach also our kids, and I'm teaching young colleagues, look, if you don't have a passion for what you're doing, then it's better stop doing it. So, but I just want to tickle you a little bit. So, what do you have in mind? What is your goal? You're with 26. You're very young. So, but what is your goal? You're moving house. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So I'm 27 next week, so then I'll be old. But I think for me, I see myself doing this, but on a bigger scale. So rather than just helping, I mean, I love what I'm doing now, but rather than just helping individuals from different areas of the world and different industries, I want to walk into bigger businesses and bigger corporations and say, look, guys, you know, you're missing a trick here. You're not producing enough video. Who are you? What are you doing? Here's what you need to do. And then coaching. I'm loving the coaching at the moment because, again, it's kind of sharing my experiences and helping other people and seeing those light bulb moments, you know. And in the industry you're in, you probably get those light bulb moments where you're like, okay, I've really helped that person. I've educated, I've entertained. For me, I am a massive believer of just having fun, you know, taking things with a pinch of salt. I don't take myself too seriously, as you'll see from my content. However, I am a serious person in the same respect in terms of what I do. I am super passionate. I will always be passionate about this. So in 5 years' time, I'll be doing this, but on a larger scale. So maybe that's with an agency, you know, having my own agency, or just having contracts with some familiar brands. But as long as I'm true to myself, which I always have been, I won't change who I am, then I'm happy. And that's it. As long as I enjoy it. The moment I stop enjoying it is when I'll reevaluate and think, right, okay, what avenue should I go down now? As I said, a year ago, I wasn't doing this coaching stuff. So, you know, things change, and that's purely based on the pandemic. And for me, I've taken it as a positive. I turned a negative into a positive. The pandemic was horrendous and is horrendous. I turned it into a positive.
So basically, this situation pushed you to make this decision. Is this correct?
Yeah, it did. It made me reevaluate where I was, and where I wasn't a very nice place. So I thought, right, what can I do? And it kind of naturally kind of gravitated towards me. It's been a bit of a crazy few months, but I am so in love with it. And I always had that passion, but the fire in my belly had gone. Whereas now you won't find someone that's as passionate about video marketing and coaching as I am. And I truly believe that this is what I love, and it's what I will do. And it's meeting people like you, the legend that you are. It's just, you know, building connections with people like yourself who are, I mean, you've got an abundance of knowledge and experience within the industry. And it's just, you know, you enjoy what you do, and I know that, and that's why we're connected. You love what you do, I love what I do, and we've naturally formed, you know, we're probably complete opposites. You know, we live at different sides of the world, we have very different lives, but we share one thing in common, and that's passion. And you can't teach passion.
No, passion. You're born with passion, or let's say your parents can teach you passion. So I think this is an important message to young parents out there. So yeah, tell your kids that it's not about. It's like a daughter of a friend of my wife told her father when she was 13, my goal is to become famous. Because when I'm famous, I will be rich. And I'm not sure if this is the right way to face the future.
I used to say the same. I used to tell people, when I'm 25 years old, I will own a yacht because I will be rich and famous. The idea of being rich and famous now terrifies me, because we look for these short fixes. We look for these shiny objects. You know, we go and buy a new car or a new phone, and we get a couple of days of that excitement. Look at me. And then it's like, oh God, what a lot of money that was, you know. And we constantly search for that. And since I've been focusing on chasing my passion rather than chasing the money or the lifestyle and all of that, I've felt a lot more happier in myself. I feel like I'm fulfilled, and I don't have that pile of money that I wanted or that fame that I wanted. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing. And I think the people that are successful, that are also happy, are the ones that don't just hunt the end kind of the money pot or the lifestyle. They appreciate what they have. And if everything disappeared, they'd do it all again.
So just another question. What is your plan B? Do you have
no plan B.
Do you have a plan B?
No.
No?
I don't have a plan B. A plan B is I'll come work for you. My plan A for me is not necessarily a plan, I guess, because it's just like, I am a bit take every day as it comes. I've always been that kind of spontaneous person. But your question about in 5 years' time, that's kind of my vision. I'm a very visual person, but it's not set in stone. As I said a few months ago, I wasn't doing this. So who knows what could happen? As long as I'm enjoying it, that's all that matters. But there's no plan B.
Okay. So yes, yeah. So you're in a different business. So I'm a dentist. So I had to make a decision when I was at the end of after my studies, after having worked for a few years. So I had to make a decision, rather traveling around the globe and working on I don't know wherever, but it's also not so easy because your license is not valid all over the world. It's not like a driver license. So if you're a licensed dentist in one country, sometimes I could not come to work to the UK. I cannot go to work to the US, or even maybe inside the European Union, we can move around to work, but so we are limited. Then you decide to open your office. And then that day you decide to invest money to open your office, you will stay there for the next 20 or 25 years. Yep. So plan B in our profession is not that easy, but you see what I'm doing now. This is plan C or plan D. So I'm trying to get the best out of all this. So, and trying to expand my horizon. That's why I'm talking to people like you. I have on my list CEOs from big companies, photographers, dentists. I'm trying to mix a lot of different people, young people, older people.
Yeah.
And I think it's about sharing passion, sharing experiences, finding synergies. So this is what I'm searching on social media. Let's say my last words in this interview. For me, it's important to separate your private life and your whatever you call business life on social media. I can tell you from my experiences that if you put too much privacy in your so-called business activities, you will fail. So you need to focus on what you're doing. And if you want to post pictures of your family, then do it on a separate account. Or what I would prefer, I would never post pictures of my children on any social media, because you should ask them if they allow this. So a lot of parents are taking pictures of their babies and posting them on social media. And okay, babies cannot say yes or no, so the parents are just doing it. But we have to be careful with all that. So my message, I'm trying to do what I'm passionate about, but I'm doing it and trying to do it in a focused way.
Yes.
To find my niche. And I think maybe this leads me to my last question or my last comment. I would love to hear from your side. So you're 26 or getting 27. You could be my son. Our two son. No, our older son is getting 30 now in May.
Oh wow!
And
I thought that's how old you were.
yeah, and our younger son is 28. So, what is your message to young people, to the people of your generation out there, in relation what you are doing? Is it worth to spend that much time on social media, or should? So this is a question I would really love to ask as my last question to you. What is the importance? What is the importance of social media for your life?
It's important, and I hear a lot of talk about the negative side of social media. You know, it affects your mental health. It does this, it does that. It makes you feel bad about yourself. Now, what I've learned in the last year or so, because I was guilty of being consumed by social media, is you are responsible. Instagram doesn't say to you have to look at this person's profile or you have to look at this. Instagram is there, and how you use it is up to you. So my advice would be to consume what you want to and what you need to consume, rather than just a bit of everything. So rather than sitting there scrolling through, you know, pictures of people with fancy cars and skinny people and whatever, like all of that stuff is not good for you. So what I do now is I cleanse. I have a social media cleanse. So I remove people, especially from my business account. I don't follow people that I'm not being educated by, entertained, informed. Like if they're there and they're posting pictures of their holidays and their money and all of that, they're gone. So then I'm not consuming it. So every minute I'm spending on social media is positive. And for me, it's no different to reading a book or listening to a podcast. I am learning, I'm connecting with people like yourself and many other people in the community. So I don't want people to keep talking, you know, about, oh, social media is bad, you know, it's awful. It is what it is. It's here. It's the future. It will not be going away anytime soon. And we have to accept that it's all about how we use it. And it's as simple as that. It's the same with smoking. Smoking is bad for you. You can decide whether you do it or not. You're always going to be surrounded by people smoking. Whether you do it or not is up to you. It's the same kind of principle. It's you. You know what I mean? Like it's up to you what you consume and how you consume it. And that has really helped me, because I was in a very dark place and social media was not helping. Whereas now I can comfortably say that social media is helping me a lot, personally and for business.
Great. So I think so far no comments or no questions from the audience, but I'm sure that some questions will arise later. And you promised me one thing that I would really love and appreciate, a short summary of this video, because this is something that I really have to start doing, is to create like these timelines on all this live interviews. Huh?
I know a guy that can help you.
You can help me?
Of course I can. Of course I can.
Okay. No, because browsing YouTube, I found that if you want to be successful in the, let's say, in the sense that you create content that people think it's useful, then you need to structure this content. So it's longer lasting. So YouTube content is longer lasting than Instagram or Facebook content. But I see, and the more I invest time in exploring also the successful profiles, the more successful, the more structured the profiles are. And so if you look below the video, you see a whole bunch of additional information, of timeline and a lot of stuff. But this must take a lot of time to do so. So I have to explore this. Maybe you need to find a routine on how to do all this. But this would be definitely my next project. And if you're ready to help me Harry,
Of course. I think
this would be great.
Yeah, look, just kind of going off that for a minute, I think it comes down to the overcomplicating. But I think, for example, we've spoken here for 45 minutes now. Not everyone that is watching it is going to have 45 minutes that they're able to dedicate on this day to watching this, right? So by giving them a highlights reel, which is exactly what we're going to do, which is going to be a minute long, we can do a couple of them. You're giving people what they want. Like, people are going to skip through it anyway. They're going to skip through the intro. They're going to go to the point they want to. So by already presuming this, you're then kind of ticking that box. Like, okay, he's providing me value. So what we're going to do with your content is we're going to have these longer form videos, which are absolutely amazing. I've watched loads of them. I watched the Marketing Harry one. I've watched loads. So we're going to have them because people like me love to watch them. But then we're going to have the shorter highlight reel, which then also encourages people to go to the longer video and watch the rest of it. So it's like a trailer, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that would be great if you can give me a hand with that.
Absolutely.
But it was not my intention to hire you or to ask you.
You've just hired me.
For some free work, but I'm okay, thank you very much. We can talk about the money later. Okay. No, but Harry, it was a really great pleasure to have you here with me. I'm excited to see your summary of this 45 minutes, and this will
send it over. I'll get it done.
This will give me some additional inspiration to work more on the quality, not on the, let's say, on the quality for the people visiting my channel. By the way, do you also have a YouTube channel?
I don't have a YouTube channel. Well, I do, but I don't. It's just for like client videos to show them. So Instagram, my Instagram is here. Yeah. I am active. So that's what I'm. There it is. I'm active on it at the moment. So if you're struggling with camera shyness or you want to level up your video content, just send me a message. I'd just love to chat with you and build up a connection, because we've got that in common,
Cool. So this was the final comment, Harry. Thanks again.
Thank you.
We will keep in touch on all channels. So I'm trying my branding is the dentist.camera is on YouTube, is on Instagram, is on Facebook, and I also have a website. So I'm trying to cover different areas, and I see different people being attracted by the different platforms. Yes. But it's interesting to follow this community, to help this community, and meet people like you. So thank you very much again for being on my show, and let's keep in touch.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you for everyone watching.
So take care, stay safe, and see you soon.
See you later.